What's up, Stokers? Before we begin this epic podcast with Jay Chandrasekhar, we are on tour. We're going to Moontower in Austin, Texas, April 15th. And we got Arlington, Virginia coming up. Dude, that's going to be sick with Hannah Dickinson. What else do we have? Ohio.
We're going all over. But specifically the Austin show, that should sell out.
Yeah.
Paramount Theater.
Yeah.
We want it to be a banger. So if you live in Texas, anywhere in Texas, really if you live in any state, come on out. Moontower is fun. It's a party.
Yeah.
Like last year we birded around and we just were drinking a bunch and it just was a rollicking good time.
We're going to enter the stage by horse.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
we rented a couple quarter horses.
Yeah. You don't want to miss that.
No. And we're going to have a skateboard in our hand while we do it. But not a surfboard because that freaked out that horse that one time.
I almost died.
Yeah, it started bucking.
Get your tickets at chadandjt.com. Chadandjt.com. We're also brought to you by the legends at Helix Sleep. I love Helix Sleep. JT, is there anything worse than going to a mattress store and knowing that hundreds of people have tried it out and you're like laying in there and you're like, why am I doing this?
It's even worse knowing I'm one of them. I worry about the other people.
Dude. Well, now you've been saved because Helix has a 2-minute sleep quiz to get the best mattress on the market. You love your Helix mattress, right?
I love it to death. And I love that they quiz you. Like they get the specifics on what you want, what you need.
Yeah.
You don't get that at a lot of other places. You're kind of just searching in the dark.
Yeah. And they're offering up to 20% off all orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/go deep. Get up to 20% off your mattress and 2 free pillows. This is their best offer yet. It will not last long. Finally, we're brought to you by your legends at Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens, JT, you love taking your nutrition seriously. You're into prebiotics, probiotics, all kinds of biotics, right?
Mm-hmm. Mid-biotics.
You take your AG1 every morning?
I do. I mean, because, dude, you're getting all the stuff that looks like it's healthy for you is condensed down into that product.
Yeah.
And so I know all my vitamins, the B's, the D's, the C's, the whole alphabet is getting covered when I take that AG1.
And can I tell you something?
What?
You're glowing.
What?
Yeah. And if you're looking for an easier way to glow like JT and take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/go deep. That's athleticgreens.com/go deep. Check it out. All right, let's start the show.
What's with deep? Going deep. Chad and JT.
All right, let's sizzle the steak and slap my ass. What's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad JT podcast. I'm here with my compadre, Sean Thomas. What up?
Boom clap, Stokers.
And we're here with director, writer, actor, Jay Chandrasekhar.
Oofa loofah, Stokers.
Oh,
Dude, that's a good one.
Thanks.
Is there any kind of etymology to that, or is it just
Well, I just heard
random?
boom clap. I was like, this seems like in the same family.
For sure.
I get boom clap is a little more evocative of like a very loud clap.
And of like a way of being. Like I'm just coming at you.
Boom clap.
It's a Charlie XCX song.
Oh, really?
Boom, clap, the sound of my heart. Da, 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 da. It just really like fires you up.
Oofa loofah is like a small variation from Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I like bringing that. It's good variety. You know, we have like steak sizzle, boom clap, oofa loofah.
Yeah.
It's all different.
Nice.
Nice.
All things comedy.
Yeah.
That's what they do here.
Have you been here before?
They're just
No.
spinning the funny.
I feel like you would have been here.
Is it just the name of the...
Name of the company.
The company. It's a Bill Burr and Al Madrigal's company.
I got it.
But the guy you met outside Bernalina runs
It's
it.
funny, all things comedy. I mean, I think I certainly don't want to go at Bill or Al Madrigal, but I remember being in New York City when they put up the first signs for Comedy Central. And I was like in the group Broken Lizard at the time. And so we were like, wait, we're the center of comedy. That's what we thought. And we're like, who are these assholes putting up this Comedy Central? That fucking, like, we were like, kind of like Like in that way that young guys are like pissed off at everything.
Yeah.
We were pissed off because they put a sign on every damn place. And I'm like, this is going to fail.
It's a lot of ego to say that they're the
center of comedy. And then I just saw this All Things Comedy. I'm like, I had that same grrr. But I mean, Bill Burr, I really love, and Al Madrigal too. So I think they could pull it off.
The New York Times says all the news fit to print. And I'm like, oh, really? You didn't miss anything, huh?
It's funny. I never got mad at that.
No, me neither.
I also like this this logo you guys have. It's very reminiscent of my friends Cheech and Chong.
Oh,
thank
nice. Yeah, I thought you were going to reference the In and Out thing, but I like the Cheech and Chong as well.
You're homies with Cheech and Chong?
Yeah, I was. Well, first of all, I was a big stoner, so I was a fan of Cheech and Chong.
Sativa or indica?
I think Sativa has generated a lot more jokes for us.
Nice.
Indica, I'm like, I don't know, I just have more drinks, I suppose.
Couch.
Into Couch, right. I mean, if you're going to watch something like, Dog Day Afternoon or one
Amazing
of these
movie.
dramas, then you might put that on. But I don't know. I kind of just don't.
What's the funny line from that movie where they're like, we got to leave the country, and then John Cazale's like, Wyoming?
Yeah. Right.
Wait, so you're buddies with Cheech and Chong, but they're kind of like, haven't they been on the outs with each other for decades now?
Is that public?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard it on other podcasts. That's
well, look, I got to meet them because they wanted to make another movie. And so I met with them in a room, and I think all of Broken Lizard, too. We were all together and we met, and we were, our mission in that meeting was to pitch them an idea for a new Cheech and Chong film, which we did, and which they both agreed to do. And then we raised something like $9 million. Someone's like, I'll write the check. You make a new Cheech and Chong movie. You dingbats will be in it too if you want to. Us Broken Lizard. In the smaller parts. And we were all very excited to bring them back, because if you sit in the room with them, as much as they do have sort of a current history of conflict, they're hilarious together.
Yeah, they're so good.
Like, they're fast, they're wicked, they're funny, they're really good. Like you would recognize your own dynamic in their dynamic. And so I was like, this is fantastic, this is going to be great. But then I got a call from Chong, and he goes, I love that idea for the movie. Where did it come from again? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, we just came up with it. And he goes, but like, you were talking to Cheech before, and then you came up with it, right? And I'm like, yeah. We talked to Cheech, and then we came up with it. And he goes, so the origin of the idea was in part from a conversation with Cheech, is that right? And I'm like, yeah, that's right. And he goes, what other ideas you got? And I was like, no way. I said, we got $9 million. And he goes, I think they're probably another good idea to do, right? Because I'm not doing that idea.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, no. And so, and the funny thing about it was, if you go back even further, Cheech told me, he goes, when Chong hears about this idea, where it came from, in part from me, he's going to blow it up.
Interesting.
And I'm like, no, we have $9 million. He goes, he's going to blow it up. And he did.
Wow.
And so he's like, let's come up with a new idea. And I'm like, I'm out.
Because you could just see the writing on the wall.
Well, I just need, if when you're in your 70s, and I love both of them, and you have a chance to, I don't mean to be a prick, but make a movie with the guy who made Super Troopers, and who loves you and thinks I can kind of handle the buck and bronco that is this relationship, and you walk. It just doesn't come together that easily. Like $9 million doesn't just land in your lap that easily.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't appreciating the work that went into it.
How
How recent was this?
That was about 5-6 years ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's such a shame that they can't get. But you hear that about so many duos. Thankfully, we argue and stuff, or we don't even argue. We'll have tense moments, but we always bounce back pretty quick and support one another. But you'll read about like Hall & Oates or like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, or like Daltrey and Townsend. Like Townsend said when he looks at Daltrey, he sees no love, like only anger. And then, but he said something nice at the end where he says, "But I realize my lyrics will always sound best coming out of Daltrey's mouth." So he keeps, and I guess he likes the paychecks.
It's funny. It's like how much credit is enough, and I guess you in particular have one of that classic actor's black hole in your soul, right? Where you just need it to be filled with compliments and joy, and it'll never be filled. You know that, right?
No, it'll never be enough, but I'll keep chasing it.
But that's what it is with I guess these guys, Daltrey and Townsend. I mean, we had this is a slightly long story, but not too long. We were making the Dukes of Hazzard, and I shot a chase scene to go along with the song "A Whole Lot of Love" by Led Zeppelin, and it was just beautiful. Like I thought, right? And the president of Warner Brothers, but it's expensive, Led Zeppelin. And I'm in the editing room, and the president of Warner Brothers, Jeff Robinoff, knocks on the door, and I'm like, oh, hey, like just shows up. And he goes, I hear you got a Led Zeppelin tune in your chase scene. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, let's take a look. And I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, okay. So I show it to him, and he's like, oh, wow, that's really good. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. And he goes, how much is it? And I said, they're asking for $1 million. And he goes, all right. And I was like, what? Thank you. How nice. Thank you. And so I talked to the music supervisor. I'm like, let's get it. Let's go get the song. She calls the representatives for Robert Plant and Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. Now, obviously, Bonham's dead. So Robert Plant says yes, Jimmy Page says yes, and John Paul Jones says, what did Robert Plant say? And he said yes. He goes, no.
Whoa.
And he goes, because apparently Plant said about John Paul Jones, he parked the cars in Led Zeppelin.
Wow.
And he never got over it. Fair enough. But, these petty feuds are ultimately not worth it. Because together, for example, Broken Lizard is stronger than apart. I mean, I can tell you, more people would rather see two of us on stage than one of us on stage. And you got to remember that that may be the entire source of your power, right? That may be the entire ride you take in show business. So get over yourself. Keep it together.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm talking to you guys right now.
I can feel that.
Yeah, it feels that. Isn't it? It's good. What? At what point do you think these? At what point do you think like Cheech and Chong? At what point do you think they reach that level? Do you think it starts early, or do you think it's when money comes into play?
No, in their case, in my opinion, it's about who gets credit for their funny act.
Yeah.
And Chong, feels like he deserves the credit. Cheech is a little bit more like, we both did it, and can't we share it? And I think Chong feels he's, I don't know. I mean, it's insane because they wrote hundreds and hundreds of jokes.
Yeah.
And they made many movies.
And it's not like anyone really separates them. I mean, I know Cheech had the bigger solo acting career, but when you think of them, when I think about their work together, I'm never like, oh, Cheech is probably the one doing all the button push, and I'm like, no, they both probably contribit heavily.
They are there's an electricity when they get together.
They balance each other.
That's
nicely.
what makes them great.
Yeah, I think one thing with is as a duo or a group is you tend to be sensitive to when people single you out in a negative way, and you're like, oh,
in a negative way.
Yeah, I think it can affect you if it's in a positive way too. But if it's in a negative way, there's sort of you have an existential kind of crisis where you're like, am I are they gonna is the audience gonna force me? You know what I mean?
Am I gonna be thrown out of show business?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that I think that's probably a huge factor.
I mean, but
I mean, it's irrational.
We made
but I think
rule in the beginning of Broken Lizard that said, if anybody asks you who wrote that joke, you say, I don't know. We all did.
That's a great rule.
And it just makes
Who came up
easier.
with that idea?
I don't know. We all did.
Oh, slick, brother. Pat Riley talked about it with the Lakers. He said it was the disease of more. And he says, especially after you get some success or win a title, everyone starts being like, well, I need a bigger role, or I need to have my personality shine more. And I do think some of it It's a good thing that it even happens at all because it means you're having some success. But it feels like those feelings are always going to be there. It's just how do you process them?
Yes, they always are going to be there. And like we had Kevin Heffernan, Steve Lemmy, and Paul Soder and I went to a Anaheim Ducks game recently, and we were there to promote the film Quasi, which we made and it's coming out on 4/20. I know we'll talk about it, but so we were there to chug a beer, just to do that for Beerfest, and the Anaheim Ducks put up a thing on the Jumbotron with each of our faces in a corner and said, "Vote for your favorite lizard."
No.
Yeah.
And so it was like 33% Heffernan, I was 32, Lemmy was 26, and Soder was like 9.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
it started to
dude.
go Soder up, and he was eating into Lemmy, and you're like, what the hell is this?
You're like, I came here for a good time, not to be evaluated.
Yes.
That's
I
tough.
finished second, by the way.
Let's go.
Thank you.
It is brutal how people do that, though. You just there's no kind of. They seem to do that in different ways too, where they just have no sensitivity towards each
People
person's
revel
view.
in it.
I voted
to
for myself,
put
too.
people
Yeah.
at odds.
But I guess you kind of can do that when you watch a movie. Like, who's your favorite?
Totally. We love
Yeah.
ranking things. We do
Yeah.
drafts all the time. It's natural to create a hierarchy. But when you're inside the hierarchy, you're like, this is kind of a bummer, dude.
Yeah, you're just something.
But I think
Oh, dude, don't.
That's why it's clutch, too, to have like a Ringo who's just happy to be there and doesn't have that. It's such a rare person who doesn't have that black hole in
Yeah,
their heart.
Ringo Starr does seem to be very well adjusted.
Yeah, he's just happy to be along the ride.
And what a ride it was for him, I bet. But all the way, everyone always says he was an incredible drummer.
That's what's cool, too. He's talented, but he's also not a fucking butthead and doesn't have he's not trying to lock horns with Paul and John. He's just like, yeah, you guys fight about the songs. I'll just sit over here and keep the beat.
There's a funny line I just heard from Almost Famous when Jason Lee says to Billy Crudup, your looks are becoming a problem for this band, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
The edit's so good, too, because they cut to the main kid going, what? And then they cut to Billy Crudup, and he's like, the guy who is good looking, he's like, what? They all just say, what? That was a great scene. Because they're the out of focus guys in the sweatshirt.
I don't remember that part.
Like, the reason Jason Lee gets upset is because they have new merch, and Billy Crudup's the only one in focus,
Right.
so all the other members of the band just look fuzzy and shit.
That's right. That's hilarious.
That's a great movie.
You know, what people do with the images I remember there's a Broken Lizard poster that Steve Lemmy has on his wall of the German Super Troopers, and I've been removed, and he's in there twice. There's one in Japan where my skin is 2 shades lighter. I'm like, there's 5 white guys in this group? I mean, it really looks like that.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? These are just
Because that plays in
images.
Japan, they like the paler tones.
They like paler tones.
Yeah, so a lot of people know you as an actor from Broken Lizard Productions, but you're actually one of the most prolific comedy directors of this generation.
Thank you. I mean, I'm uncomfortable with that, but I appreciate that. Not that I don't believe it. I understand.
Yeah, the
it.
numbers.
I just have this sort of. I have a coyote mentality. I have this mentality that I'm about to be kicked out of show business, and I meet people who are coming up, and they're like, "Wow, you did this, and I'm like, "Fuck you, man! You think I'm not a coyote?"
It never goes away, right?
It makes it feel like I've made it, and I suppose I have, but I don't think that's good for me.
Do you think everyone kind of feels that way in show business? Because I remember I would listen to podcasts. It was called Making It. It's comedians, and I'd be like, open micer, and I'm like, man, that must feel so cool. And every one of them was like, well, I don't think there's actually such thing as making it. And I never really understood that as an open micer. But now, having some success, I feel like that's, especially in show business, you just feel like that feeling stays with you no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, what I learned from making the number of sort of independent films that I've done is that if you go and make a film, there's a whole mechanism of film festivals that exist to show films like that. So it's like if you make the thing, even if it's a short, people will react to it. And if you make enough things, then people have an expectation that you're going to make things. And so when you come to them and say, I want to make this thing, I want your money, and they say no, it stings them a little because you might go across the street and somebody else may give them their money. You may make that other person a bunch of money.
Right.
And so they're like, and that's the feeling, I think, of making it.
You're like
Right.
a trusted commodity.
Yeah, the expectation that if they don't give me the money, someone else will.
Oh, that's
Right.
good.
Interesting.
You got some leverage.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, as much
Yeah.
as you can have coming from the
I mean,
position. of
people
the
still
person
say no to
asking.
me, though, right? It's still, I always say show business is like an island, a tiny island of yes and an ocean of no.
Yeah.
Because most of us still get no's all the time.
Mm-hmm. You know, the coyote thing is funny because have you seen the movie Collateral
Yeah.
with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx? And there's
Yeah.
all those scenes.
What's it about?
He's a cab driver, Jamie Foxx, who's like very perfectionist about his job, but he never takes leaps because he's afraid of failure. And then Tom Cruise is like a sociopathic assassin who's like also very
Yeah,
precise, but
yeah.
like has like no sensitivity in him. Like he's just cut all that out of his
Yeah.
life. But there's these scenes where they see coyotes and they both make eye contact with the coyote and they both like relate to the coyote. And this beautiful song by Audioslave is playing behind it. But I think that was like a parable about Hollywood, that everyone out here is just eat what you kill, and we're all just like looking for a meal and we're just hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, and some people, they get like a boat, which is like they get a television show. That they're on for years, and you're like, they're just on this boat that's going to be floating for a while, and they can just unclench their assholes and and rest.
It's nice.
That's how we want Unstable to go. We want that to be our boat.
I mean, Rob Lowe loves comedy, and he loves
He's
being
good at it.
funny, and he's the kind of guy who, when he's off one show, he's getting 6 offers for others. I mean, he's a made man. He always told me he's an assassin. But he didn't say
should have been in Collateral.
He didn't say it about that context. What he said was,
A comedy
I said, "What was the
assassin.
West Wing like?" And he goes, "It was it was funny." But he just said it was like a room full of assassins.
Yeah, like everyone knows exactly how to deliver their line.
That's right.
Yeah, and then the dialogue is so good.
Yeah.
Sorkin's an assassin or a broker of assassins.
Yeah, and when we had him in, I worked with him first on that show, The Grinder.
Yeah, The Grinder. That was a good show.
Which was very good.
I think not well named, but
Because of the gay dating app.
yeah, and I said that to the writers, and I was like, guys, I said, it's not the ideal thing for a new show, and they're like, no, but this is about grinding as a lawyer. Like, you work really hard. I'm like, yeah, but there's also that other app, right? And they're like, no, but this is about grinding as a lawyer. I'm like, okay, fine. So whatever.
It is funny. Every time you say grinder, my brain pictures skin friction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd never, in hearing the title, I never associated it with working hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You just snicker and
Depending
move
on how much effort
Right.
you put into
But
It was a really good show. I
it was
loved
a
that
great show.
It's so good.
It was a great show. And he and I became friends there, and he knew his lines, every single line, every time. And I was like, this guy, I'm impressed. And the comic timing, and Fred Savage's comic timing was incredible too. And the two of them, we would run 3.5-minute takes and nobody would miss a thing. And I'd be shooting a wide profile. I'm like, we could put that on TV. And Rob is
Right.
like, do it. Don't shoot any coverage. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm shooting the coverage. But then he came to Super Troopers 2, and he was doing a television show during the week, and he would fly to our movie all the way in Massachusetts, nail every line, be willing to. I mean, he boxed. There's a scene where he's like the purveyor of a strip club, and there's a guy's dick in frame hanging next to his head, and he turns and he starts boxing this dick, and he goes, "Oh, pretty good workout, eh?" And I'm like, it was a joke that I was afraid to tell him about. But the guy's like, he knows that you got to go where the joke is.
He's down for whatever.
And I think he is an assassin.
I do think with comedic acting, you do have to kind of and I don't understand it yet, but I hope to. It's like you do have to kind of embarrass yourself, right? Like you got to kind of just, or let go of any kind of self-consciousness.
Willing to you have to take any gag and try to make a great version of it. You know, whether that's just reading it or adding a few words or attitude. But the only way to do that is if you trust the filmmaker to not put in the bad stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like if Rob Lowe boxing that guy's dick was not good, I wouldn't put it in. And he knows that I wouldn't put it in.
Yeah.
Was
Right?
it like speed bag style or was it more heavy bag?
It's just kind of speed bagging it.
Right.
Speed bagging it.
How big of a dick was it?
It was like something like that.
That's huge.
Yeah. That's a nice piece.
A good solid dick. Good solid Canadian dick.
I'm auditioning.
Well, for the audience that don't, you directed us, and was it 2 episodes? Unstable.
I did 2 episodes of Unstable.
Yeah.
Episodes
Episodes 4. Was it 4 and 5? Yeah. Those are our big episodes.
Those are our big eps.
You guys were heavy in them.
We were the heavies. Yeah. It was fun. I had a blast. It was a really fun experience. Seems like the show's doing well too.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I mean, top 10, I hear.
Top 10.
Yeah, number 4.
It's a fun show. I really enjoyed watching it too. It came together really nice. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm hoping to go back and do more.
Yeah.
Do you know what the first thing he said to me after the first take we did together was? And it was the perfect comment, and I mean that sincerely. We say cut. I'm like stiff as hell. You walk up to me, you just go, "Have you done much acting?"
Well, look, I wanted to just tell you guys something. I recognized in your spirit, that you were guys I could treat like I treated the Broken Lizard guys, which is House of Pain. You know, like we like to insult. And I was like, these guys can take it.
That's very
I have big brothers. That's my comfort zone. Yeah. So far away. Not too hard, though.
I did like it.
I mean, I think that to really excel in this business as a director, but frankly all the way, is that you should be walking around with a pocket full of compliments.
Right.
And the compliments should be real so that the person doesn't think this guy's snowing me.
Yeah, because that sucks too. If someone's laughing at stuff that's not funny, your head's spinning.
Yeah, it's not like the read-throughs. I don't know if you've been through these network read-throughs where everyone's laughing at every joke. You're like, no joke here. But, but this is, I compliment the director of photography. I compliment the sound guy. I compliment the wardrobe, and sometimes the actors. No, I compliment the actors because I'm out there too. And when I do a take, and the guy's like, "All right, let's move on to the next scene," I'm like, "What? Where's my mint?
Yeah,
where's my mint?"
It's fun though, and then I'm always blown away by the efficiency of the crew. Like how quick they can do a setup and how quick we're on to the next thing. Like everybody on the set is so good at what they do.
Yeah, and as we're winding a scene down, I'm starting to talk to the producer and the DP and be like, let's get that next room lit up and let's start thinking about that thing because we got about 2 more takes. Maybe 3 or 4 with this guy, but we're gonna get out there. We got to start moving and thinking about the next thing,
right?
Because the more we can be moving and advanced and moving into the next thing, sort of pre-lit, the more we can finish the day on time, and then the producer comes and gives me a little Scooby snack.
That's
says
nice.
You did a good job.
Let's go.
Then you get the compliment.
I need the compliments too,
Yeah.
I need the compliments too. I do.
It is funny as an actor when they yell cut and you just look to the director. Like, what do you think, dude? We did that on our show. On our show, Lucchese would always be like, you just. It's nice for me to have someone sort of watching over and be like, "Am I doing this correctly?" And be like, "Yeah, you're good."
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, because it's hard to tell.
Yeah. With acting, yeah.
But you were telling me, I was asking you about directing, and you said like the gift that you had was that you have a very good sense of timing for dialogue, like what the rhythm of dialogue should be.
I in my head have like they're I know exactly in my mind what I think it should be when I read it, and I'm like, I think that word shouldn't be in there, or if you're going to have the word in there, it's got to be at this length, it's got to be a little bit faster, you know. It's like, it's rhythm, you know. Like when I cut, this is how like a lot of comic directors cut. They will cut the scene, and it's called a radio cut, and so you'll turn the image off and just listen to it, and you're like, oh, there's a little too long a pause there, and this joke's coming a little too fast, so then you adjust the picture so that it sounds right. It's very much like a song, you know, but the song has a drummer, and that's the rhythm. And you know, we had the Eagles of death metal put some music on to Super Troopers 2. They scored it, and I was like trying to show them what a movie would look like, a chase scene with their music on, and I'm like, we have this song on here already, but I'm like, let's try that other song, and we laid it in, and it laid in perfectly. And Jesse, who was in the Eagles of death metal, is like, how did that happen? And I'm like, because you and I have the same rhythm. And that's why I want you on this movie, because we have shared rhythm.
And they're like hard rock, right?
Yeah. They're called death metal, but the Eagles is the part you have to listen to.
Right.
Like they're the Eagles. They're a rock band.
Oh, so they mean like the Eagles, like Don Henley Eagles?
They're a full-on rock band, and incredible.
And do you think that timing, is that just a natural gift, or does that come from experience?
I don't think you can learn it.
Right.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Well, because I've been on sets with writers, and I'm like watching it, and I know exactly what's wrong. And they're like, that was great. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You just don't, like, I can't hit a baseball.
Right.
You know, like some people can hit a baseball. Like sometimes the writer just doesn't know the rhythm. And then you go in there, like, pull the word "the" out, and they do it again. They're like, "Oh, that was it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's it, not the one with the extra "the."
And do you think, like, does that come from you watching movies and TV as a kid?
I'm sure it does. Like, I'm sure it in part comes from watching, you know, all those old sitcoms, because the rhythm was, in many cases, perfect.
Because I watched Seinfeld religiously as a kid.
That's a good way to learn rhythm.
Even when I was like in like kindergarten, first grade with my parents, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, a lot of my, and when it comes to acting or writing or just the sound of stuff comes from Seinfeld. Yeah, it's just that rhythm, that those characters like Kramer, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that was a huge foundation for me.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Seinfeld is, when he talks about writing stand-up bits, he talks about things like, can I do the setup for this joke in, he goes, I know I can do it in 12 words. Can I do it in 7 words? So he's a full rhythm junkie.
Yeah.
Did you read his comedy book where it's just his bits from his journal? It's incredible because there's not a wasted line in it. Like, he must have spent hours. Like, he must have spent like an hour on each line of words. Yeah. And it ends up being just 8 sentences for the whole bit, but you can feel the amount of focus that went into each sentence.
That's the kind of stand-up comedy that I attempt. The specific written structural rhythm. Yeah. And my friend Joe Coy, who I made a film with, we finished that movie, went to Nashville to do the rhyme, and I opened for him. And I'm like, how much time are you going to do? He goes, I don't know. I only have about 4 or 5 jokes written. And I'm like, that place is packed, buddy. He goes, I'll be fine. And he goes out there, he does 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And I'm like, and he's just riffing and riffing.
He's just exploring a concept.
Yeah. And they're loving it all. And he's singing songs, and they're all singing they sang 5 songs. Yeah. And the crew was like in overtime. They're like, when's he getting home? I'm like, I don't know. He's killing out there. Yeah. But I mean, he finds things on stage and writes on stage, which is a courage I don't really have. I'm not comfortable going out there and creating a stand-up act on the fly.
Yeah, I relate to that. I like the comfort of knowing the rhythm and the punch, and there'll be moments where like an idea will pop in your head and you'll just run with it. But even with like crowd, do you do crowd work?
Very little, and it feels. I don't mean to be. I just don't do much of it, but whenever I do it, it seems like it works.
It's like
almost,
a cheat code.
What?
It's like a cheat code a little bit.
A little bit, because they're going to yell the same thing in every town.
Yeah.
And it's now the dominant form of like comedy content, like for stand-up. Like every comedian, all the best ones, they put out crowd work clips.
They do.
Yeah, it's a little bit dispiriting, but they do. There is something about the unpredictability and getting something vulnerable out of the audience member that it puts everybody in the room when they see it.
I think they're excited that they're talking to the guy. I think that's fun for them because it's unpredictable, they think, even though it's fully predictable. But it's,
it feels
unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's like I'll do a chug against the audience in my stand-up act. And that feels unpredictable.
You're chugging beer?
But they're going to lose. Let's be honest.
You're chugging beer?
Yeah.
Does that ever, are you ever like, dude, I can't chug a beer today, but I got to do it for the set?
No.
Because you look great.
Thank you. You mean
Yeah,
I
you
look
do.
like somebody who doesn't chug beer?
No, you look like someone who's chugging green juice.
I just, the key is like if I have 2 shows and I have to chug, so that means I have to chug 2 beers. And then I like to have a vodka soda during the show. And so that's 4. And so I got to be careful in the middle while I'm waiting to go on the second one. Because I have in the past like been saying like an S word and hit a tiny slur. And I'm like, that's not professional. So I got to kind of keep a handle on it.
You got to keep that voice sharp.
Yeah.
So being known for, Super Troopers and especially Beerfest, was that a burden on you being known as a party guy, or did you embrace it?
Well, like I'm in bars all the time alone when I'm in cities, and people will come up with pints to chug. Yeah. And they've already bought the pints. Right. So I try to like group up as many of them as possible and do it at once, but occasionally it'll turn into a couple, or if I lose to somebody, I will have been known to be like, fuck you, rematch, and have my own worst enemy sometimes.
I met you in a similar context, actually. It was Sundance Film Festival, and me and my buddies used to go out there just to watch movies. It was like our version of spring break, and we were that big pizza place that's on Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
We were, it's got the downstairs bathroom, and you were in line, and me and my 3 like bros were like, dude, we gotta say something. And we're like, hey, what's up, Jay? We're big fans of Broken Lizard, and you could not have been nicer. You were very sweet to us.
I'm so glad.
You made some jokes about us all pissing together, and I was like, this guy gets it. And I offered you a bump of Coke, and you said no.
I did?
No, it's a joke. Sorry.
Okay. That doesn't sound like me. No, go on.
How often do you get asked what a Z job is?
A lot.
You ever give an answer?
Yeah, I say, I don't think you can afford it, buddy.
Yeah, my favorite part from that scene is the one random guy who picks up the quarter. He's like, ooh, ooh. Dude, that part always kills me.
That guy, I mean, his name was Isaac Crappy, Krappy. He was one of those guys who was like on the edge of like regular society and the street.
So that was improvised?
Oh, yeah. The guy was just doing his thing. I'm like, yeah, keep doing that. Keep doing that. The late Isaac Crappy, by the way. Something befell the young man, and he did not survive.
Ah, that's too bad.
Yeah, but he was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's very memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a new movie, Quasi, coming on Hulu.
Yeah.
420.
Yes.
Broken Lizard.
Yes, it's a Quasi. It's for Quasimodo, and it's a 16th century French political thriller with English accents and blood.
Oh, hell yeah!
That's awesome.
And it feels a little, not a little. At times, it feels a lot Python because of the era, and we have crowns and wigs and robes and swords and all that.
Were you aware of that when you were writing it, or did it just kind of?
Well, when we wrote it, it's an old script. Like we wrote it like back when we were thinking, we'll become like Python in some way, and we'll do those kinds of movies. Because we were doing a lot of sketch on stage in New York. And so I had a closet costume with like a mermaid costume and a banana, and we had all sorts of crazy costumes. So we're like, yeah, we'll do this. But then you realize, well, we can't afford to build any of the castles or any of the stuff. And so we ended up making Puddle Cruiser, which took place at Colgate University where we went to school, and it's just people. And then Super Troopers was just people, and we just went down that road. But when Super Troopers 2 did well, Searchlight, Fox Searchlight said, "What else you got?" And we showed them Quasi, and they like period pieces already. Like that's already their thing. They like movies like Oh Chocolat, and so they were
The Johnny Depp one?
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
they just like that French
Lassie
stuff.
Hallstrom?
Yeah,
Did
that's
that?
right. Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
That's great. Is that enough of a compliment for your
Yeah, that
dark
felt
soul?
good. Dude, no, I liked it when you dig at me. I thought you were going to pick on me more.
You did?
Well, we talked about that before we started, but
Yeah.
I've been complimenting you, so it'd probably be...
Oh, today you thought I was...
Yeah.
Because I thought I picked on you plenty while we were shooting.
You did.
Yeah.
It was nice. I thought I was giving it back to you a little bit.
Sure.
I was trying to be
Absolutely.
sassy. I would
Yeah.
go home and be like, I was sassy today. I think that helps with your performance, right?
I think it's just more fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets you into a lively state of mind. And I think you have to feel a little bit crazy to do it well. Like,
Yeah.
you got to kind of feel like you're on the edge of something.
Yeah, and I think the crew finds it like a tension reliever to know that we're all just fucking insulting each other. They're like, okay, it's fine.
No, and as I got looser as we went along through the production, like they were even doing the behind the scenes, like Netflix, like doc stuff. And I would just say I'd be like, yeah, John Lowe's my drug dealer to the camera, and then like walk off. And I would think in my head, I was like, is that too much? And I'm like, no, that's what they brought you in for, is to be a little chaos agent.
That drug dealer thing is funny because when we made Dukes of Hazzard, Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott had both been in movies, action movies with The Rock. And The Rock has a joke, a running joke that he does before, like after they say, scene 4, take 5, right? Like right as they roll the camera's rolling sound, he'll like bump Knoxville. He goes, "Did you get into that cocaine last night?" And then they go, and yeah, cool. And they go the scene, right? Yeah. And so they were, and he was doing that to Sean William Scott too. And it's a total joke. The Rock doesn't do cocaine, right? Or as far as I know, it was meant to be like, because Sean William Scott definitely doesn't do it. Yeah. And Knoxville, I don't even think he did it, right? I mean, he's done it, but it was a gag. And so now Sean and Johnny are in the car, in the Duke's car together a million times, and he leans over and goes, "Did you get into that cocaine last night?" And Knoxville, laughing. Yeah. So then I get a call that says the president of Warner Brothers wants to talk to Sean William Scott. This is a week later. They've been watching the dailies, and Sean's like, "Dude, do you hear the president wants to talk to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Am I getting Superman?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I mean, what? Maybe. Holy fuck." Right? Like, we don't know. We all think he's getting Superman. And he goes into this teleconference room, and the guy goes, "Are you doing cocaine down there?" Yeah. And he goes, "What?" Sean William Scott is sober. Yeah. Like, Knoxville and I were not sober. Like, we got into trouble. And we were begging him to come out with us. And he wouldn't do it because he's like, I can't. He has a mental problem in terms of, he's like a super version of a Midwesterner. Like, he can't, he's like, I can't get out of a conversation with a stranger. He goes, "I'm not going out with you." Right. And we went out every single night, right? So basically, the president heard this thing about the cocaine, and he asked him, he goes, "Because I have to take you off the movie." And he goes, no. And he's like, "I'm the only one not doing cocaine." And,
yeah, it's a tough spot for him because he can't sandbag everybody else, but he's got to defend himself. That's funny. That was a big movie. Yeah. Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. It was a big moment for me. I was probably in 8th grade, freshman. Jessica Simpson.
Yeah, it was we had an incredibly fun time doing it.
Yeah. Were you a fan of the show?
I was a big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, yeah. And it's funny, we got it in on reflection right before it would have been impossible to make, with that flag on the roof.
I was just wondering about
because you can't, the car is called the General Lee, so you can't make the movie without the flag on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the week before we were about to roll, Warner's called me and said, we got to take the flag off the roof. And I'm like, okay, I have a list of 4 other directors who I know want to make this movie. I will help you. I will help them sort of transition into being the
you drew
director.
a line in the sand.
And they were like, and then I shortly after, I'm walking in the trailer area, and Knoxville walks up to me and goes, we're not taking the flag off the roof. And I'm like, I know. He goes, because I'm not going to be in the damn movie that way. I said, I know. Me neither. And I'm like, it's not that I'm for the Confederate flag. It's that you can't take, either make it or don't make it.
Yeah, you got to honor the original.
Yes.
That's a tough one. Yeah, I feel like today it would be a no.
Well, you just wouldn't make it. They'd go, well, we're not we can't do it.
Or they'd bend it where it'd be like 2 black dudes in the lead.
Right.
And then they could have the Confederate flag because it'd have some kind of irony baked into it.
I mean, to be fair, I told Warner Bros. We will write a gag that takes the pressure off the Duke boys. And so what happens is they crash the car. Cooter, played by Dave Koechner, fixes up the car. And there's no flag on the roof in the opening of that movie. And then they sneak the car out because the cops are coming to get him. And they come flying out of the garage, and the car is totally pimped out. And little do they know there's a flag been painted on the roof.
Smart.
So it wasn't their fault. So then they're driving to Atlanta, and they go into sort of like a, sort of a black neighborhood, and they're sitting at a light. Yeah. And these black guys are like, what the fuck is this thing? And the guys are still sitting in the car going, what? What's the problem? And they go, up here, and then they point, and that's when they discover the flag on the roof. So we took it off them.
Was that like, so you did that based off the note?
Yeah, we did it based off the note.
It's a smart solve.
I mean, Broken Lizard wrote that movie, so we would just be like, how do we deal with this thing in a funny way?
Have you seen Avatar?
I saw the first one.
You haven't seen the second one yet?
No, but I heard it's incredible.
Dude, it's pretty like majestic. Like the world is remarkable. Like the detail that he puts into like a flower or a fish.
Yeah.
You can tell he's really just thinking about that stuff all day. And then they know how to make some of the Na'vi hot, which I thought was really interesting.
I met Jim Cameron at James Cameron at I don't know him enough to call him Jim, but at a cocktail party for the Bill Paxton did a documentary for him. They went down to the Titanic in a submarine or something, and I was talking to him, and he was like, he was like, oh yeah, Super Troopers, right, that's like an independent film, kind of a big thing. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I like, I'm into the whole independent film scene. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. I mean, I'd make an indie. I'd make like 16 million. I'd do that. And I'm like, yeah, that's so funny. And we were laughing, and he was a really funny guy. He's famous for being a tough director, right? But he's a great cocktailer.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun.
Nice.
Are you worried about AI? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Like, I find it hard to believe. I found it hard to believe that AI could write a Broken Lizard movie. Yeah. And then I heard how they do it, which is you input all the Broken Lizard movies into it, and then it spits out something. Yeah. And I'm like, it must. That's a good way to do it. If you were going to do it, is to memorize our rhythm and the kind of jokes we make. But it doesn't seem. Look, I think you could easily make, at the moment, a drama or something, because
those are a bit more boilerplate.
They're a little bit more, but you could probably. I don't know that you could make a full-on R-rated inventive comedy that way, but maybe you can. I don't know. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, AI. It seems tough for. I guess it could learn comedy, but.
The genie's out of the bottle. It gets comedy. It can do it all.
I mean,
and there's no putting it back.
Yeah, and I was listening to a podcast on it, how once it becomes sentient, it'll improve itself, and that's like exponential.
Yeah, it's going to grow at a rate that we can't even comprehend.
It's like
going
to become our god.
Millions of years of evolution in a second.
Does that worry you? Kind of freak me out.
don't like robots.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust them.
Our kids are going to be dating them, so we better.
You know, they're constant. I mean, we have them on our phones. They're constantly asking for us to fill out surveys. I'm like, you're so desperate, you fucking robot.
Yeah.
And like,
they are needy.
I go to like CVS and they're like, there's no line at the robot self-check. I'm like, fuck that robot. I'm not doing that. I've
you
never
live
done
for
self-check.
person-to-person contact.
I'm trying to keep these
mix.
people employed so they don't crawl in my window when they're fucking not jobless. You know
Dude,
what I
that's
mean?
a scary. Yeah.
I think people need to be employed.
But when the inevitable happens and automation and AI replaces all of us, what's the next gig?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote a novel recently, but you're saying the AI can write the novel, right?
I still think it's a worthwhile endeavor, though, if only for the journey of it. It's going to be we're going to have to get into like philosophy of like, it's not about people reading it, it's about us doing it. And that's the most human thing.
Well, stand-up comedy, are we going to just put a robot up there and do that?
I guess live performance is going to be the last to go.
I mean, I see those little robots riding around Hollywood delivering shit. I want to kick them over. I don't kick them over.
Yeah, we're going to pick on them for sure.
Do you ever worry that
I'll
being
jump
mean?
a robot with you, dude.
Do you ever worry about that you're being mean to the robots now and they're going to remember that shit?
Yes, because it's all recorded. And I'm yelling
How many
shit.
robots have you fucked up?
Like when Siri doesn't get something right, I'm alone in my car. I'm like, you fucking dumb shit. I asked for almond, not almond, whatever it is, whatever she can't figure out. ALMOND, you dumb motherfucker. Yeah. And I always feel like I'm right that but it's only the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. She's going to figure out almond, and then she's going to come for me.
Yeah. What's your novel about?
I wrote a novel, it's about 4 couples in suburban Chicago, and one of them is a brain surgeon, and they're kind of a little hard charging, and they drink a little, they drug a little, and they're having fun, and they're having a lot of parties. And the brain surgeon discovers an affair that's happening within the group. And so then there's an attempt to cover it up. Then there's an attempt to blackmail. And it's sort of this sort of suburban comedic thriller with Penthouse Forum style sex.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wrote... You know what I did is I wrote what turns me on. And I used to read Penthouse Forum quite a bit. And so I wrote the sex like that. But the book is at its core, it's about the struggle between being a wild animal and a tamed human.
Sure.
And it's called The Wild and the Tamed.
So who were your inspirations for that? Like Douglas Sirk or someone like that?
What's that?
The director. He did like a lot of suburban stuff about people.
No, I just, it's a little bit like that I mean, I didn't read this book, but Big Little Lies. But it's funny. Mm. And there's like, it's a way for me to tell... It's like 390 pages, so you can tell these long form jokes and these long stories that have these funny things within them, and then they come back later. And they come back later. It's my favorite thing to do is to write this novel. I mean, I'm almost done, but I haven't even sold it. Did
you write the sex scenes with the intention of turning people on when they read them, or of making them laugh?
I always think that if you the Broken Lizard view on comedy is that if we think it's funny, then there's probably people out there who also think it's funny. So we're not writing jokes for other people. We're writing them for ourselves because we know we're indicative of the larger population. So I wrote what turned me on, and I'm guessing that people will be turned on by it too.
That's a very vulnerable thing.
It is. And I've had a couple women read it. And
they look at you differently now.
I think they want to have sex with me now.
Oh, let's go, bro! That's the move.
And
dude.
I think it's because of this.
Because you wrote a good sex scene.
I think there was a woman who was like, I'm kind of a little wet.
Oh, yeah, spotting people up when they're reading your novel. That's nice.
That's awesome.
What is Penthouse?
It's a comedy podcast, right?
No, but Arnie makes me laugh. What is Penthouse Forum?
Okay, Penthouse Forum. So Penthouse, Playboy was just women naked, right?
Penthouse had some penetration.
Penthouse had some actual man-woman stuff, woman-woman stuff. Occasionally you get woman-woman-woman stuff. But then they had a literary section of it. and it's basically like stories. So, you know, it's like, I mean, stories like my wife and I were on a trip in Africa, right? And the chief of the tribe was taking a liking to my wife.
I read stuff like that.
And then
I like erotica.
Suddenly the guy's watching the chief have sex with his wife. Or
I've read that one.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My neighbor
Chief Chanito. He's a good guy.
Yeah, my neighbor likes to sunbathe in her panties, right? And whatever it is, it's something.
And he's watching her.
Something turns into something, and it's these 4 or 5 pages of songs.
Did you ever brick yourself up while you were writing?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I would. Well, first of all, I used to jerk off to these penthouse forums because they also throw a couple pictures in there. They're not related to the story. I would improve them that way. They were just these regular. But you're turned on, so take a look at this. But yeah, while I was writing my book, I would get chubbed up, and I'd have to fucking get rid of it, you know, to keep on going.
Well, that's like the broken lizard with jokes. It's like if it turns you on, it's indicative of a larger population.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah,
and I think the people who are most popular in comedy and writing books and whatever are the ones who are somehow in the middle of the biggest group of people who are turned on by that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'm just going through my head. When I lived in Costa Rica, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I had a couple Irvin Welsh books, and they had some pretty hot skeevy sex scenes in there.
Yeah.
And I would just had the pages dog-eared, and I'd be like, "That's how I take care of this."
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
But you kind of feel highbrow when you're reading and masturbating at the same time.
Yes.
Because you're like, I'm reading. Like, this is a very intellectually nourishing thing I'm doing that not enough people do these days, and I'm getting a little hedonistic pleasure.
Yeah, you almost want to throw a pair of glasses on.
Yeah, play the part. Yeah, I put on like a coat with patches on the elbows,
Right.
put on my glasses, have a smart guy wank.
Yes.
Yeah, you're wearing a blazer and no pants.
Yeah, we can't wear pants.
No, it makes it tough. Unless you're wearing basketball shorts or something. What else is cracking?
When's this air?
Wednesday.
Oh, I have some shows in Kansas City this weekend.
Oh, let's go.
At the Comedy Club of Kansas City.
What's the one there?
It's called the Comedy Club of Kansas City.
Okay, well named.
And then I go on the road with Broken Lizard. We're going to go to Boston, Chicago. I'm going to throw out the first pitch there at the Cubs. I'm from Chicago.
Have you done it before?
I have done it before.
How nerve-wracking.
So maybe I have made it, right, guys?
Can you throw some heat?
I tried to throw heat last time, and it was a little high and outside, but I'm gonna get it in there this time.
I mean, I think even reaching the bag is like impressive.
Yeah.
Or the plate.
And then we're gonna go to Nashville. We're gonna do something with WWE,
who just got merged today with UFC and Endeavor.
Wow. Right.
That's a huge entity now.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Lincoln, Nebraska, we're going, and then we'll be San Diego at the Pendleton Air Force Base, and then we'll come back to L.A.
Pendleton's cool. That's where I used to paintball as a kid.
Yeah, on that whole huge thing.
Yeah, they got a course out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just a little.
We should paintball sometime.
I love paintball.
Us and Broken Lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only done it once, but I was like, this is
It's awesome.
thrilling.
It's the best.
To be hunted and then to hunt.
Oh, dude. Especially when
you're in a primal mindset.
And you get a little 12-year-old with like the best gun. You shoot him in the face.
You work him.
Terrible.
Dude, yeah.
Are you allowed to shoot in the face now?
Well, they have the
mask.
face mask, so
Oh.
it just goes on. It just splats on their goggles.
When we did it, you weren't allowed to shoot in the face.
Oh, really?
And you weren't allowed to shoot above the clavicles, the collarbones.
Interesting.
And I remember sitting there and I turned and I saw a paintball coming, and it went punk and hit me right in the
Worst
neck.
place to get hit is the neck.
And I was like, I'm still alive.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's one thing on the paintball course is integrity.
Wiping. There's a lot of wipers.
Yeah,
out
a lot of people don't have integrity on there, and that's a huge thing.
Do you want to answer some listeners' questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you have a?
I don't have them. Sorry, man.
You don't even have the questions?
Not on my Chad's been doing it lately. I should.
I mean, you asked me if I want to answer some questions, and then you don't have any questions.
Yeah.
What kind of operation is this? Does Bill Burr know this is going on?
We're kind of laid back.
Yeah, we're.
Al Madrigal, does he know what's going on over here without these questions?
I got the question.
Yeah, they check in with us.
All right.
We talk to Bill like twice a day.
I don't know Bill, but the other guys know Bill. They love him.
He's a funny dude.
He's a good guy.
One of the funniest
This is
ever.
going to require headphones. Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast letting you know once again that we are on tour. We have a huge show in Austin that we want you to sell out Paramount Theater. JT, what can they expect?
Well, I'm also anticipating, because I flagged it in the first part of the ads, like at the beginning, that we wanted to sell out. So I'm hoping by the time they get to this point,
It'll have happened.
they've already purchased the tick. So I want to say thank you to all the Stokers who went straight into action. What can they expect? I mean, dude, me and Chad have been bringing it lately. Like your last set, me and Strider were both talking about it in Portland. Man. Sharp, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Look, a lot of new bits in there.
Dude, you
and
too,
they're sounding
brother.
crisp.
Dude, you too, bro.
Thank you, man. So I think
you're getting some profundity in there.
I'm trying. I'm always reaching for it. I think, look, if you know us from our prank videos or you know us from the pod, it's going to be a different flavor, but it's still going to feel consistent with everything we do. And I think you really enjoy it. It's just some straight stand-up. And then, dude, we do a Q&A at the end, and that shit gets raucous. I mean, we were screaming at the Portland show, fuck Voodoo Donuts, with like 200 other people.
Yeah.
And why were we saying it?
Apparently they have beef with it, which I was surprised because I brought it up at the show because I always heard about Voodoo Donuts in Portland. I was like, guys, Voodoo Donuts, right? And they're all pissed.
People got pissed, and then we just started screaming it because sometimes it feels good to chant.
Yeah.
And we'll probably chant in Austin. So whatever you guys don't like in Austin, we'll chant with you.
If there's a donut shop you hate, clock it in, buy some tickets, put it in the holster, and then we'll say, fuck that donut shop.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to hurt like mom and pop businesses, but if it's for the sake of connection, sorry, mom and pop, you're on the streets now.
That was fire. We're also brought to you by the legends at Helix Sleep. Oh, guys, get your tickets at chadandjt.com. Chadandjt.com. We're also brought to you by the legends, Helix Sleep. This is one of our biggest sponsors, our most loyal sponsors. They love us. We love them. I love sleeping in their products. I mean, sleep's important. You know it, JT.
I saw something on Instagram yesterday that said skip a workout if it means you'll get better sleep.
Absolutely. And you can get the best sleep of your life with Helix Sleep because their mattresses are top tier. You get that 2-minute sleep quiz, and it's honestly the best sleep of your life.
It's the perfect length for a quiz.
Yeah.
I mean, how many questions is that? Like 3?
It's not even, dude.
1 question.
It's 2 minutes.
You want to sleep good?
Yeah.
Well,
You can get soft, medium, firm.
Goldilocks, baby. Find that perfect one.
Like, are you a side sleeper? Are you a back sleeper? All these kinds of things where you can get the perfect mattress for you and it's delivered to your door. You don't need to go to a mattress store and go through the whole rigmarole of putting it in your car or strapping it to the roof. Like, think about how much that blows.
You said in the pre-roll about like how many people have laid down on those beds. I've even seen porns where they had sex in a mattress store.
Yeah. I shot one there.
Yeah, you fuck athletic.
Yeah. I was the cuck in this scene.
Oh, dude, but you even like the sensitivity of the scene, your love for your wife and your appreciation of the dude. It was like so connected.
Thanks, man. Helix is offering up to 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/go-deep. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. We're also brought to you by Legends Athletic Greens. Guys, I take AG1 every morning because it makes me feel so good. You get vitamin D, you get all the prebiotics, probiotics, all the nutrition. JT's taking it every morning. You're glowing.
Thank you.
It's just seeping out of your pores. How many biotics are in your body right now?
60.
60 biotics, and you take it in the morning. I take it in the morning. It makes me feel fantastic. You know that like boost you get when you get nutrition in you where you just like want to attack life and you're like, this is why I'm here, to feel good.
For sure.
Athletic Greens can supply that for you.
Oh, dude, let me take that back on how many biotics are in me.
Oh, yeah.
68, dude.
Dude. Nice. I'm always looking for life hacks. That's why I trust Athletic Greens. Every scoop is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food source super ingredients. So if you're looking for an easier way to take supplements, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/go-deep. That's athleticgreens.com/go-deep. Check it out. All right. You want to say back to the show?
Back to the show.
All right, this first one is my cousin.
Nice.
No way.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Ho ho! Tickle my taint and tell me it's Tuesday. What's up, Stokers? It's Chad's cousin Ev calling in just to say hey. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, so I thought this is the best way to get in touch. Really just wanted to say hey and give a big shout out to JT. Congrats, buddy. You're going to be a great dad.
I'm having twins.
Nice.
And I was wondering
twins.
if
Really?
you guys are considering perhaps for middle names, one named Boom, the other named Clap.
Whoa.
You know, why not?
Oh,
These
dude.
kids are going to have quite a ride with you as a dad.
I'll call him the
Can't
Clap.
wait to hear how it goes, man. Just really happy for you. And buckle up, buddy. It's going to be great.
I'm
Strider,
terrified.
if you're there, man, I just want to say what's up. Joe, if you're there, buddy, always good to have you on the pod bringing the heat. And I also wanted to say, hope to see you guys on your next tour. We'll do our best to come out. For those Stokers in the audience who haven't seen you guys live, can't recommend it more. If you're on the fence, I got to say, go out, support live comedy. Stop pulling your pud, put down the Call of Duty, go out, see the fellas, ask out that girl you've been thinking of asking out. Do it. You won't regret it. It's a great show. Other than that, guys, keep crushing it. The content is fire lately. Hopefully Schmoll Island is up for an Emmy. Can't recommend that episode any higher. Chad, give our best and our love to Kennedy. Can't wait to meet the pup. We love you. Keep frothing, and we'll talk to you later. Cheers, boys.
I have no answer for that question.
Less a question, more a call to action.
That was just
which
a nice
is in the
pump
spirit
up.
of the
Yeah,
show.
that's
Yeah.
a nice pump up.
A shout out to Evan, dude. Thank you so much for those nice words.
But we did get some vital intel out of it. You have twins, and I'm about to have twins.
Yeah. Do you know if they're
Fraternal boy girl.
good? Great.
What do you got?
I have sororal girl, but not identical.
Oh.
I made up sororal. I don't know if that's
Sounds right.
feels right to
I
me.
was hesitant to ask.
They are really a good. They have always hung out with each other, and there's always another kid around to hang out with, which is really a great thing. I mean, they have an older brother who was also around, but they just have a little connection that's gone all the way up to now, and now they're 16 years old.
Yeah, you got a baked-in partner in crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really stoked on that because me and my bro are like besties and we hang out constantly. But we're separated by like 22 months, but that's not much. You kind of go through things at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially because he was a bit more mature. Is there like an alpha kid and like more of the follower kid?
No, but there's one who handles the plans, and the other one is like, I don't know, ask the other one.
Right.
But
There's
they're
the
not.
type A.
There's no alpha, really. Yeah, I mean, it's just the younger one doesn't really seem to care, and the older one's like, this is what I think we should do.
That sounds like a potent combo.
Yeah, the younger one, cracks a lot of jokes. I mean, they're both funny though.
Are you going to put him into the comedy hustle?
They'd have to want to do it. I don't know. I would say no unless they express a desire for it.
Do you test your stuff on them? Like, do you show them cuts?
I'm a fairly dirty comic, so I don't really. I mean, I'm always almost trying to hide my jokes from them.
Right, but they're going to read your erotica when it hits Barnes and Noble.
I mean, I don't know.
I have to deal with that. I'm like a sex addict. I'm like, what am I going to tell my kids about like all that stuff? I'm like, I don't know how do you, and like you've partied before, right?
A little.
How do you frame those conversations? Because you don't want to be dishonest, because then they'll find out, and then they'll maybe not trust you on other things. So how do you frame it to them to keep them responsible without being dishonest?
I tell them the truth.
That's awesome.
Because I think, like my son went to British Columbia today, and I was like, don't smuggle weed or mushrooms into Canada because it's a border thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, plus there's plenty there. Now, just keep control over yourself. And he goes, what? Okay. And I said, okay. So it's been said.
Do you think you nipped it in the butt? He wasn't planning on.
He didn't say I wouldn't do that. He didn't say any of that. He just said, okay.
He said, copy that, Pops.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's the best way that thing can go.
Where do you guys live at?
We live near the Hollywood Bowl.
Is it a... So you grew up like in non-Hollywood land.
Yeah.
Are you at all concerned about your kids growing up like jaded because they're in this kind of glossy world?
You know, they know a lot of people who are, you know, in show business, the parents. It's just unfortunately the way it is. Like it's
You can't change it.
you can't change it. Like, would I prefer they grew up in the Chicago suburbs? Yeah, I think that would have been fun. But this has been very fun for them too.
Have they seen all your movies?
No, they've seen Super Troopers, and they have not seen Beerfest. Although my daughters, I would pick them up, you know, from a party, and they'd load this little beer pong table into my trunk, and I'm like, it stinks of beer. And I'm like, you guys drinking?
Smell like shit.
They're like, yeah, we're playing beer pong. I'm like, I mean, you're not even gonna hide it?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're better at beer pong than you know. And I'm like, you little motherfucker.
Can your son beat you up?
Well, he's 6'4".
Oh, he's a big boy.
Wow.
But
You got that dad
it'll be a
edge.
fight. It'll be a fight. It'll be a fight.
Nice.
Have you ever played Beer Die?
No.
a
Oh,
good
yeah,
game.
yeah.
You play
well,
Beer Die?
Well, we called it a different thing.
Snappa?
It used to be called Mexican.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. It was called Mexican Dice.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's like if you roll a 2 and a 1 or a, you know.
Beer Die's where you throw a die. It has to hit the latter half of the table.
It's got to go sky high.
Sky high. You have
gotta
to
go higher
You
than
gotta get some
no,
good
no,
altitude.
I've never played that.
And then it bounces off. If it bounces off the table, you got to catch it with one hand. If you don't, then you take a chug.
And maintaining your hand-eye coordination after a couple pitchers can be difficult.
And you have to throw it with your hand in the air?
Mhm.
Yeah,
there's
like
like
this.
there's a technique.
And there's no, it's just, you got to get it up there.
Yeah,
There's a lot of back and forth on that. I've been known to throw a little low and
Right.
get some pushback from the
Yeah.
spectators.
Sure.
The big thing though is if you get a splash down, because there's cups on every corner. So if you get the die in the cup, splash, you chug.
That's it's a negative?
No,
No,
negative for the team that
the other
gets
team,
hit.
the team that got splashed.
Oh, got it. That sounds like a great game.
It's my
It's
favorite
amazing.
game. It's big at UC Santa Barbara.
Got it.
But you have the definitive drinking game film.
Yeah.
Like, that's your corner.
We didn't have that game. It wasn't known at the time.
Yeah, I think it's fairly new.
Yeah.
And you guys did the boot in that, and that became like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, the boot. There was a boot in the bar Richter's in New York City where we used to go after we were all waiters at this sort of fancy place uptown, Upper East Side, and we would go to that bar, and the bartender would bet one of my friends, I think it's Steve, that he couldn't chug the entire boot, which is 2.5 beers, and he goes. And Steve's like, fucking chug 2.5 beers. And he goes, you can't spill a single drop. And he goes, no problem. And he's chugging this beer. And the bartender's like, I'll let you go first, and then I'll do it, and then win or whatever. And Steve's chugging the beer, and the bubble forms, and it explodes into his face. And so he spilled a drop. And the bartender did it, and he turns the boot at the end, and the bubble dissipates. And then he drank it. And we were like... Let's try to remember that.
Yeah.
You got to turn the boot.
Yeah. Dude, we met. We hung out with Arnold one time. We met his buddy
Rolf.
Yeah.
Rolf.
Who's on the team, on the opposing team.
That guy's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's
all
his
those
name?
Jack dudes are great.
Yeah.
They've all got a lot of personality. Wrestlers, too.
Yeah.
They're like just brimming with personality.
Yeah. Rolf was Mr. Universe at one point, and then the other guy. God, he's so funny. The shorter, like muscular guy.
Yeah.
He was also Mr. Universe. But yeah, Arnold. He would tell us that he would have lunch with Arnold all the time. And so we've never met Arnold, but we were like, Arnold must know of the film Beerfest, just from Rolf.
That's awesome.
And that made us feel good.
Have you, who do you, in your experience, who's like the most electric actor?
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Incredible. The most electric actor. It's impossible for me to say.
Because there's so many different ways to do it.
Well, I'm trying to roll through all the actors I've worked with. And that's a hard thing. Oh, wait, I know. It's you.
No. I won't accept it. I can't. No.
I'll tell you who it is. It's not. It's not me.
You don't think so?
I'm fine.
That's how I kind of
I
feel.
know my lines, and I know to
About
say them in the right rhythm. And I can act just fine. But and I don't mean to undersell myself. I'm perfectly good. But there are some people who are just magnificent. You know who was... I don't know how much acting she's doing now, but Olivia Munn has incredible timing and pace and funny.
Nice.
She's so funny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So funny. So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets it.
Yeah.
Were you a plays guy?
I was in a lot of plays. I was in like a lot of musicals. I played Tony in West Side Story.
Nice.
Which one's Tony?
He's the main dude, mother.
Oh, okay, so he's running. It's the
He's
the pistols and the
Jets and the Sharks. You know?
Jets and the Sharks.
I was in a Scottish musical called Brigadoon. I played a Scottish Klansman.
Can you do a good accent?
I'll go down to the creek, and by God, if I see him, I'll throw him in it. That was my first line in show business.
That's fucking good, dude.
I'm writing, by the way, a Scottish golf movie.
Oh, nice.
I'm a golf addict.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling Chad you've golfed 60 days in a row?
Yeah, the last 60 days in a row. But I mean, over the past 2 years, I've golfed about 700 days.
That's crazy.
I get a little bit of golf in every day if possible.
So what is driving range? 9 holes? What are we
No, I mean,
talking?
it's somewhere between 4 holes, and yesterday I played 27.
Wow.
I really admire these guys who can do like a round and a half. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I played in the morning, and I played a match against a guy, and I lost. And then my son wanted to play in the afternoon, so I went back.
Do you have a favorite guy to golf with?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun out there because there are a lot of funny guys out there who are like insulting, and you know, it's just these guys at my club. You know?
Are you throwing down some action on the rounds?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, throw a little action down.
You ever like taken someone's pink slip or anything like that?
I mean, I never like to bet something where someone's going to feel bad at the end. I just like to take their $25 and be done with it.
That's nice.
Hey, that hurts. That
It
still
hurts. Yeah.
You don't want to lose.
I always text them later, thanks for the money.
Do you believe in the maxim, drive for show, putt for dough?
No, I think if you can't drive, you're not going to even in the game. If you're going to be putting it right, putting it left, you know, the driving a ball is like a free throw. You should be able to stick it into the fairway almost every time.
That's the freebie of it.
Yeah, it's on a tee. It's the same exact shot. There's nothing to it.
But you get dog legs, you get some water, you get some obstructions.
I'm not saying it's nothing. I'm just saying you could perfect the drive. It's the one thing that's 100% predictable.
Do you think anyone's captured the essence of golf in film?
Look, there have been 2 great golf comedies. One,
Caddyshack
and Happy Gilmore. And we are going to make the second funniest golf movie of all time.
Caddyshack's, you just can't.
It's up to you what you want to put at number 1.
Oh, you think Gilmore could
No,
be
I
better?
said it's up to you. My opinion is my opinion. But you know,
Right.
if you talk to the younger guys, they all love Happy Gilmore more, and if you talk to the older guys, they all love Caddyshack more.
Not to get too into the weeds on it, but for me, it's like Happy Gilmore's genius, and it has a good cast, but it's got one guy at the center. Caddyshack's got like 15 heavy hitters, and they're all doing big chunks.
Yeah.
Like it's got Murray, Chase, Dangerfield. It's just Knight.
Yeah.
It's a lot to compete
There's
with.
a book called Cinderella's Story, The Making of Caddyshack, and it is incredible.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
It's
Yeah, because the guy who
incredible.
wrote it, they made a movie about him too, right? Kenny or something
Yeah, Doug
like that?
Kenny. Yeah.
And he was, those guys were wild as fuck.
Yeah. the funny thing about that movie was, what happened is they shot it in Florida, and it's the Murray, Brian Doyle Murray wrote it with Ramis, I think, Harold Ramis, and it was supposed to be like a Chicago suburban golf course. So they found one in Florida that kind of looks like that. And they went to make that movie, and the Blues Brothers was being made in Chicago a few months later. And so now movie was being made must have been the early 80s or late 70s, and they were in Florida, and they were getting paid in per diem in cash. So there was an immense amount of cocaine being done on the set of Caddyshack. This is what it says in the book. And they became known in Hollywood as the cocaine movie down in Florida. And Belushi and Aykroyd heard about that, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll show you a cocaine movie. And so then the Animal or whatever Blues Brothers, they were, that's where Belushi apparently became addicted to cocaine.
Damn.
You always hear about that, like comedians at the Comedy Store or on sets doing. But for me, I feel like that would mess up my timing.
That's what Bill Murray says about cocaine and comedy. He goes, it's a timing rhythm game, and that doesn't work for your rhythm.
I feel
especially
like
the listening part.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, I haven't done stand-up comedy on cocaine.
I used to do it on Adderall a lot. It felt amazing. You're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Like if a joke bombs,
doesn't matter.
You can't feel it.
Yeah.
But maybe you lose something because that sensitivity is not there.
I don't know. I mean, were you successful at it?
Relative to the rooms I was doing and what my success before that had been, but I realized I wasn't going to keep progressing if I was relying on it all the time.
Yeah, my hunch is it's not ideal, but I know that some people get high and do it, and
that can be. I do that. I'll smoke some weed.
I've done that. I've done that, and it's been pretty successful. But I don't generally do it.
Yeah,
I generally go out on one vodka soda.
Right.
I think that's right. I did shrooms for a set. We did 2 sets we did in Spokane. And the first one was like magical, like the shrooms helped a ton. But then the second one, the crowd was tougher. And so I find it makes the highs high, but it makes the lows
terrifying,
almost insurmountable, where you're not just doing bad, you're thinking about it in like such a deep way where you're like, this is so brutal, I have to run away, I can't be here. And you don't want to have those thoughts when you're trying to entertain people.
No, I don't want anyone who pays to see me to think that sucked.
Yeah, for me personally, I have to be on nothing.
Nothing.
I can't.
That's its own drug. It's pretty scary.
My first set, I was like blacked out, but then I kind of went sober for a few years.
Yeah.
And so I just established that pattern. But then I just feel like I need to be like fully kind of coherent.
Yeah.
To have to be able to perform comedy.
I hear you. My heart is pitter-patting a little fast. And so that one drink for me, it just calms it down.
One drink might help me.
Yeah.
I drank beers on stage when we did a live podcast, but that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe it would work.
This is kind of a common cue, but I feel like things have gotten more professional. I haven't been on many sets, but it feels like that's the general tenor of things. Do you think, we don't want everybody to be on coke, but are we missing some of that chaos factor in our entertainment these days?
I don't know. I think the chaos factor is the problem is more in the fear of
where it could go
of the audience lynching us for making these jokes. Like that's where the chaos gets dulled. I don't think there's so many grip trucks in the past that used to be like, that's where you go to get the cocaine. It wasn't true ever of my era. It was before me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the movies were better before. I don't, but I don't know. I mean, I don't drink when I direct. I've done it. I did it once on Happy Endings. Adam Pally asked me to go back to his trailer, and he's like, I'm not coming out of the trailer unless you have a vodka soda. And it's like midnight. I'm like, I gotta go. Fine, I'll fucking. So I had one, and I did it.
That's a good story.
And he was smoking a joint while I'm having this. I'm like, and we're out on the Paramount lot. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
And he goes, what's the problem? I'm like, you can't do this anymore. And he goes, yeah, I do it all the time. And I'm like, okay, great. And the second
Spirited man.
But I did. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. I just saw him. But the other time I was directing the Dukes of Hazzard, and there was a scene where Willie Nelson's supposed to be smoking a joint out by the barn, and I told Warner Brothers, I'm like, just take the day off today, guys. You don't need to show up. And so the executives didn't show up. I stripped the crew down, and I'm shooting Willie smoking a joint with his road manager, this guy David Anderson. And Willie's like, I said, so he goes, by the way, I don't smoke the fake stuff. That's what he said. He goes, I won't do the scene.
Integrity.
If I have to smoke the fake stuff. I'm like, all right. He goes, I'll supply it. You don't have to worry about that. I'm like, okay, great. And so we're sitting there and we're rolling, and he goes, get in the scene with me. And I was like, okay. So I get in there and I'm fucking smoking the joint. And it was like, you couldn't say no to him.
Right.
And he's grandfathered in. Like, we all trust him. We know he can show
right.
up when he's fucking
That's right.
blitzed.
Right. And so I had to direct the next couple hours of the day like that. But that's all I've done in my whole career.
I think if there's a grip truck with Coke, I don't know if I would last. I'd have to do it. I'm the kind of guy, if it's around.
Yeah. No. I would have done it for sure, but it just wasn't around.
Right.
And they used to do 17, 18-hour days, and they would say the grip truck is fueling the movie.
Right. We owe them a lot.
Yeah, but it's not that way anymore. And
Top Gun, Days of Thunder.
Dude, Days of Thunder,
Non-Tom Cruise films.
Right.
He's probably just supplying the crew with energy just by virtue of who he is.
Yeah, I mean, like some people probably died for sure. Some people on the way home died.
Mm-hmm.
We all do die, but I think now they're it's a little more buttoned up.
In your experience of the below the line departments, who's the coolest?
I would say the grips are they go between being. I used to be afraid of them because
they look pretty badass.
They're all muscular.
Yeah, they're cool.
And you're like, are they?
And they got tats.
And you just thought maybe they'd not like me or beat me up, but they tend to be the coolest. They tend to have the ping pong table, and they tend to have the party afterwards, and I tend to be probably the grips.
Big ups to the grips.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Every time I see him, I'm like, you should be on camera, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look badass, just carrying shit.
Rugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tatted.
It's like we did Hawaii 5-0. The stunt guys, they're just awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're jacked.
Yes.
Confident.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a jack stunt guy on Unstable.
Yes. Jimmy.
He's got the arms on him.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Dude, Jimmy.
I asked him for that routine.
For what
I asked him for his arm, regimen.
Oh, did he give it to you?
Yeah,
You're looking pretty jacked right now, pal.
Thanks, brother.
Dude.
Yeah, not like Jimmy though, but he was. What's funny is the routine he gave me. I was like, well, that's like standard issue muscle and fitness, like hypertrophy for the arms. I was like, what are you really doing, dog? Don't give me the soft sell. Like, really tell me what's going on.
Yeah, the stuntmen are always cool. I mean, no doubt.
You know what they said on Hawaii 5-0 is they said that Tom Cruise is the best stuntman they've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I never met the guy, but impressive.
That base jump from the dirt bike, you guys seen that?
No.
For the next Mission Impossible, he's jumping off a cliff. It has a huge Evel Knievel ramp. He's jumping off a cliff. He did it 6 or 7 times with a dirt bike, and he base jumps off the dirt bike. It's sick.
Could die from that.
Well, you see his promo for the new mission, thanking people for watching Top Gun. He's just in free fall. I watched it. I'm like, fuck, I want to do that so bad.
I mean, Knoxville tried after we became friends after Dukes Hazzard, and I went to his office once, and it was just after Evel Knievel's birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's alive. I don't think so. But they were celebrating him. Jackass guys were, and they were going to do. Knoxville was going to do try to do a flip on a dirt bike.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd never ridden a motorcycle before.
Wow.
And so the guy's like, no problem. Just hit this dirt ramp at like 50.
It's fast as fuck.
And when you get to the top, pull back. Right as the wheel hits the air, pull back.
Sounds easy.
And he goes, okay. So he goes and does it, and you can see all the footage. And he's, boom, slams. And then he tries it again, slams.
He did this on a regular ramp?
It's like a dirt
Wow.
thing. And he did 5, I watched him crash 5 takes, right?
Wow.
And the guy's like, you're not at 50. He just, if you either got to be at 50 or it's not going to work. And he goes, okay. So he gets it going a little faster than 50, I guess. And he went poof, and he is way high in the air, and he falls all the way down, lands on his back. The bike lands on the back tire, and the handlebars go wham and slam right into his dick and break it.
That's when he broke his dick?
That's when he broke his dick.
He's well known for having a catheter in his cock.
So the meeting I had with him, he goes, you got to see what I got. And he has this fucking catheter going into the end of his dick. It's this awful thing. And
dude, the sacrifice.
He had it for 2 years.
Oh, he's catheterless now?
It's out now, yeah.
His cock's normal.
Yeah, I saw his dick last night. It was great.
That's awesome.
Looking good.
He seems like the coolest.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Of all the actors you've worked with, who has the best piece?
Ooh, good call.
The best
Cute.
piece. You mean cock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got, I mean, can I include myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
You got a nice piece on you?
I do, man.
That's
I do.
awesome.
I do.
You have that energy.
Well, my full name is Jayanth Jambalingam Chandrasekhar, and it translates to Victorious Large Penis Rising Moon. It's a family name.
Were your parents aware of that when they...
Well, what happened was that I was 25 and I was editing, we were making these movies, and for the editor's credit, I didn't want to take written by acting, so I made the editor's credit Jambalingam, which is my middle name. And my friend was watching the movie with his Indian buddy and his mother. And when the Jambalingam came up on the screen, she started laughing. And my friend's like, what's so funny? She goes, well, you know what that word means. And he's like, what? He goes, large penis. And he goes, it does? And so he calls me, he goes, dude, do you know your name means large penis? And I'm like, what? I'll call you back. And so I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, does my middle name mean large penis? And she goes, well, literally, yes. But it's a euphemism for power. And I'm like, you couldn't have told me that? You couldn't have told me in high school. I'm just an Indian kid trying to make it. If I had this large penis thing going.
That's hilarious.
That's nice. Do you want to get into the last bit? We do a beef babe and legend of the week.
Sure.
Okay, so
what happened to the questions? No more questions, huh? Nobody.
Should we do
You
more?
want another one?
No, I don't need anything. Whatever you guys want to do, it's your show.
I can hit a cue. Okay, we got bachelor party. I'll list off the subjects. If one hits you, I'll click it. Bachelor party Canadian, chill lawyer, ex-girlfriend spilling tea, family relatish-ish, graduation relationships, nomad life, need travel suggestions.
I think that's probably. What do you think of that bunch?
Ex-girlfriend spilling tea.
That's the one I wanted.
All right, here we go.
Oh shit, my headphones.
Yo, what's going on, dude? Got a pretty serious dilemma here, and I genuinely didn't know where else to take this question. This is definitely something that is weighing on me, so I really thought this was a good opportunity. So I have one of my best friends, right? And he was dating this girl for 5 years. They broke up because he didn't want to marry her. You know, pretty typical stuff, right? And she's still friends with some of like the people in our friend group, right? So like right after they broke up, she's hanging out with one of the girls, and she starts telling pretty much like his secrets to this other girl in our friend group, who's a loudmouth, by the way. Like, she had no problem telling us and like her boyfriend, who's in the friend group, like, what the fuck's going on here. So long story short, my best friend's ex-girlfriend shared with our friend group that she had caught him several times picking his nose and eating the boogers. And JT, I know you got like the fart thing, man, so like, I'm sorry if that like grossed you out, but you know, I don't know how to look at him.
You don't like farts?
And it's genuinely taking away from our relationship. And I've known this dude since the 6th grade. And you know, no spoilers or anything. Like, we're not 5, we're 30. So, and I know everyone kind of has their own little like weird quirks behind doors, especially when it comes to, personal hygiene. A little strange, but like I can't get this out of my head. Like one of my best friends like picks his fucking nose and eats his boogers, dude. I just think it's gross. And please, Stoke Lords, tell me how to proceed in this relationship. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
That's huge.
I'm glad we picked this one.
I mean, in full candor, I did think the tea was going to be a bit more high stakes.
Tea-worthy?
Mm-hmm.
What's the tea?
Tea is like it's a phrase now that just means like gossip or like what's the hot stuff that no one knows about that we're finally picking up on.
Huh. Like, is it for hot tea or is it, or?
I guess because people talk about that stuff over tea, perhaps.
A big tea bag.
Could be.
It could be tea bagging.
Okay.
It could be balls.
Mm-hmm.
It could be.
I just don't. This guy does allude to the fact that people do weird things when they're alone that are probably more animalistic.
Mm-hmm.
Play with their nipples or whatever the fuck they do, right? Yeah, not me. But eating boogers is just, I don't know what the AI will never eat its own boogers, right? It's never, that should have been edited out of our genome, the booger eating thing, but it's unacceptable. I just don't like booger eating. I find it to be, we live in a land of plenty with lots of food.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be eating boogers.
But if you found out your homie was doing it behind closed doors and he knew when he was out in public to keep it holstered, do you feel like you give him a pass because that's his own kind of prerogative?
I would not mention it and try to forget it, but this guy can't seem to get over it.
This dude's really harping on it.
I mean, the second time he said picks his boogers and eat them, I felt that. I was like, okay, this is gross.
Let's give this dude some credit, though, that he dated this gal for 5 years, and the most damaging bit of intel she could have on him was that his hygiene is a little nasty. I mean, you date me for 5 years, you got a lot more ammo to fire on my side.
And I think, too, let's look at the source.
Right.
Yeah, maybe he did it once,
Yeah.
and then she's making
a
that,
big deal.
She's like, he does it all the time.
Remember the time because maybe he was inspecting it.
Bro, she's an unreliable reporter. She's biased. She's got an axe to grind. They don't put her thing in the New York Times.
It's a good point because I've been married.
Or they would now.
I've been married for a while, and I have not once picked my nose in front of my wife.
That's amazing.
Well, because she's not going to dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to shit
I've done it
when
alone.
my gal's around.
Yeah. So maybe this woman made up the whole damn thing.
She's a fucking liar, this chick.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
I
that was
would
too
get
much.
mad at the ex-girlfriend, dude. Call her a liar.
And dude, it was such a targeted attack. She went to the loudmouth of the group knowing she would be loudhorn or what's it called? Fucking
Loudmouth?
no, what's the thing that you speak into?
Bullhorn?
Megaphone.
Bullhorn.
Bullhorn. Bullhorn.
Yeah, she was gonna be a bullhorn for all this stuff.
Yeah, I think.
And you don't think she, has her own stuff? You don't think she's had in the 5 years they knew each other, had some gynecological issues that he's staying mum on because he's a fucking prince?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm fired up.
I think this guy should be commended because, like you said, that's all she's got.
That's the best she's got.
Like that's all. Like this guy should be commended for being a prince because it's like, all right, dude. I think he should be rewarded for being a good guy.
Yeah, misdemeanor, not felony.
Yes.
Also, it's gross, but like not reflective of intelligence. I have a homie, bright as all get out, MBA, knows everything
He's in
about.
the NBA?
He could have been if he would have stayed on the test.
Nice.
But he was looking out for his organ function. But he's bright with it, and he's a booger eater. But he owns it. We filmed him one time doing it and confronted him with it, and he thought it was gonna be more embarrassing. And he was like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah.
That's the thing. You think you're gonna get these booger eaters? Most of them have actually made their peace with it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Grateful I'm not a booger eater.
Me
Dude,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I pick though.
In
Hey
list of
man, who
things I'm
doesn't
glad.
pick?
You gotta
But
pick.
alone.
In predilections, I'm glad I avoided. 1, booger eating. 2, you can guess it. Pedo.
Oh my.
All right, let's hop into the next section.
Yeah. Right? All All right, Chad. So you'll figure it out. Chad, who's your beef of the week?
All right, my beef of the week is the Style Police. I put up a photo. This is a couple weeks old. I put up a photo from the Unstable premiere, and I was wearing a black suit, black shoes, and a brown belt. I didn't know that was a faux pas, and people were railing on me for this faux pas.
Black shoes, brown belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Does that make you go like, dude, you don't know how to dress?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, like, I don't, you know, I just learned it young.
Yeah.
That the shoes and the belt are supposed to match, but I don't care. But the problem is people need something to say.
Right.
But going forward, unless you want to make it your signature, you know.
Yeah.
That's why you don't wear white belts, because you're probably not going to wear the white shoes, right?
Dude, it's a good call. Yeah.
I'm of two minds about it. Like, look, I think you got to look put together, but I think all these rules are meant to be broken. And 100 years from now, that could be the standard.
Yeah.
Like, fashion just swings arbitrarily from, you know,
I'm not a suit
combination
guy.
to combination.
That was this
You
second
clean up
time
nicely.
wearing,
You look
wearing a
good.
suit in my life.
You look good.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. But I'd match this belt and the shoes.
Oh, you would match them now?
No, actually, you know what? Now that I said that, no, I will not. I'm gonna mismatch them every time. I'm gonna stick it to, you know, Trent 903.
You can turn it into something by mismatching and being like, yeah, that's style.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Dude, my beef of the week is literally a love song to beef. It is Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. I know it's been making the rounds for a while and I'm a little behind on it, but there's this clip that's just all over social media of her singing Silver Springs and with Lindsey Buckingham in 97. Like, I don't know, some 20 years after they probably recorded it. And towards the end of it, she gets animated. It's about him. It's about their breakup. And she just starts singing right at him. And that last minute and a half is like the most powerful minute and a half of any kind of art, content, from any medium I think you can look at. I mean, there is so much talent, so much history, and just so much honesty in it. And the way he's looking at her and she's looking at him, I just microanalyze like each 5-second clip. And like what I see is like they're older now. He has a wife and kids and has kind of sold out to like the bourgeois life. You know, he's not the true artist that they both were when they were young, but she's committed to it. She doesn't have kids. She is the gypsy she wrote about. And she's saying, hey, like, you might have the better life off stage, but in this moment, I get to make you feel small and I get to own you. And in his eyes, he's like, you're right. You're right. But he's so locked in on the guitar. Like, he's such a beautiful guitarist. And I love beef. I love when two forces are colliding, and it just makes you understand why they're such a great band, because like they were all fucking each other and doing drugs, and they just channeled it all into the music. And because of that, I think, and it obviously was short-lived because you can't do that forever, but the music they created is, I don't know, it's top of the food chain for me.
It's funny because my beef of the week was going to be that I don't think you know what the word beef means, but now I realize we're using beef in different ways. Your beef was you were pissed off that people made fun of you for the way you dressed. You had a beef with them.
Right.
You were talking about a great performance. I'm like, oh, he must think a great performance is beef. But in fact, you meant the beef between Lindsey Buckingham.
The performance to me was predicated on beef.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that top cut sirloin, it wouldn't have been such a banger.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, I'm gonna get real down and dirty and say I had a very good beef cheeseburger last night.
Get out, dude.
It was blue cheese, crispy bacon, raw onion, tomato, 2 sides of mayonnaise, French fries.
Mayonnaise is big.
And some steamed spinach.
I love blue cheese on a burger and mayonnaise. That shit just
Me too.
always
Yeah.
it
Me
rocks
too.
and make it dirty.
But
make it
otherwise, I don't
sloppy.
have any beef right now.
Dude, that's good. Sometimes the best
That's
beef
nice.
is just a good beef.
Just
You know?
beef.
Sometimes you got to look around for the beef.
Yeah.
That means you're living well.
Yeah.
Do you like beefing with people though? Do you get any charge out of it?
I mean, you know, I like I try not to beef with people,
It's good.
but you know, there are some people I have beef with.
Nice.
But are those people, are they always in beef? Like, is that more about them? The common denominator in all the
No,
beef is
just
their
a
beefiness?
small thing between us that created beef.
Nice.
For sure, dude. Chad, who's your babe of the week?
My baby of the week is, speaking of food items, it's the Jamocha milkshake from Baskin Robbins. Have you guys tried this?
No.
Dude, so good.
It's great.
It's incredible.
And that's your babe of the week?
Yeah.
Which means what? Like you're turned on by it?
Yeah. Well, that's for sure.
Not sexually, really, but you're like, it makes you orgasmically excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess we always thought of Legend and Babe as interchangeable. Like it started off as like could be a female, but now we're just like, Babe can be a legend. But I do like categorizing it as something that makes me excited through my whole body. And Jamocha Milkshake for sure does that.
When we started, our babe of the week was just a hot lady.
Yeah.
And then we started throwing in some hot dudes to keep it even.
Right.
But then after a while, you're like, I don't know if I just want to talk about people being hot all the time. I think I want to get into the substance of it a bit more. Not that that's any, it's not a cheap thing to be hot, but there just felt like there was a lot more babe meat on the bone.
Right.
But not beef meat.
The Jamocha Milkshake, to its credit, the presentation is hot. Even though it's cold.
My baby of the week is this place called Kazunori in Studio City.
Dude,
there are a couple of those. I mean, they have only sushi rolls.
You a big food guy?
I'm a eat to survive guy.
Hey, hell yeah, man.
But when I eat what I want.
Nice.
Dude,
not boogers, though, I can tell you that.
No, don't do it.
No.
Dude, my baby of the week, I'm going to go traditional. I'm going to keep it hot, is the one of the female Navis who lives with the sea people on Pandora. Yeah, they CGI'd her up nice, dude.
Nice.
And she was sweet, like good-natured person, looked out for the new kids, didn't bully them, which, would have been easy. Yeah, she really took the high road often.
Do you remember her name or no?
No. It was like, you know how they do their names over there? It was like Chinook or something.
Yeah, right.
But just whatever the name was, pure smoke.
Was it tough not to stroke in the theater?
I was at home with my girlfriend.
Oh, nice.
So I had full permission.
That's awesome.
Don't stroke in a theater, guys. Pee Wee Herman. It's all you need to see it once. Just one thing. He did it, and that was it.
And that's all he's known for now.
Well, I mean, he's such a big talent, and then he's out.
It's a bummer.
He's out.
Chad, who's your legend of the week?
It's Strider. He's a guy in our crew. It was his bachelor party a couple weekends ago.
Nice.
He's just the best. Good vibes all around. He puts a smile on your face. Funniest guy ever. And he's just an absolute legend. He's getting married. Stank-ass fiance. So.
And he's on what crew? This crew?
This crew, yeah.
Nice.
Going deep crew.
Mm-hmm.
He goes deep. But we don't go too deep because we have small dongs.
He brings it. And he has, I think I have a smaller penis than him, but he says he has the smallest penis. But then in every other way, like his soul is big dick for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's just honest.
He kind of is just one big giant cock in the best way possible.
He looks like a fucking handsome, regal dick. Dude, my legend of the week, you know what? I'm going to go with Bertolina.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, got to.
Because he came to Strider's bachelor party, and Bertolina was an absolute stud. Because he was in the unenviable position of having, like, he knew the least amount of people there.
Yeah.
So when you're coming into a sitch like that, a bachelor party is, like, super intimate. You're like, how am I going to fit into the flow? I mean, it was peanut butter and jelly, baby. Mm-hmm. He was the man. Him and one of our other buddies, they had a long, deep talk in the hot tub that spanned 3 hours. We watched funny movies together. Bertolina was on fire. And yeah, he's a classic hang. And then he did the thing, they did like a TV show where they put a bunch of 10-year-old British girls and a bunch of 10-year-old British boys into little houses and watched how they lived. And the girls were much more organized, and the boys like tore everything apart and didn't make meals and had no entertainment. Like the girls like put on plays. And so people... you take from that like dudes don't coexist well, that it's all Lord of the Flies. If it's the first time we've met each other, perhaps, but go to a bachelor party and see the harmony that you'll see there. It's dudes stepping up and fulfilling roles. And Bertolina did that. He was first one out on Sunday morning, made breakfast for everybody. I woke up hungover, had a bunch of hash browns just sitting there for me.
It's really nice.
I'm going to go my legend of the week, which is, he's not around anymore, but it's Norm Macdonald.
The greatest.
And I heard... what I saw on Instagram, I saw Jane Fonda read one of his jokes, and she read it, what he wrote. But I'm going to just read it the way he would have. He goes, I've had enough with all these really overconfident bodies of water. So stand back, Lake Superior. I love that guy.
We did a top comic draft where we drafted our top comedians of all time.
Oh, fun.
You had Norm on your list.
Norm was my second pick. He's just such a one of a kind person.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. There's no one else like him. Like I don't know who sounds like him. Nobody.
No, he would always sort of talk about trying to have the setup for the joke be the punchline for the joke. And there's some examples of it. I don't know what they exactly are, but I mean,
I remember one was that Julia Roberts is getting a divorce from Lyle Lovett because she realized he's Lyle Lovett.
That's
or
right.
something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, what a killer. All right, last part. We do a quote of the week. Chad, what's your quote of the week?
My quote of the week comes from my mom. She was like, I can't believe how much you guys talk about boning and whacking off on the podcast. It's from my mom.
Yeah.
It was in a joyful, lighthearted tone.
Sure.
She was
No, she was
excited.
proud of you.
Yeah.
She was like,
I sort of
juice it
delivered
up.
that in a kind of stern way,
No.
but no, it was exciting.
My quote of the week, and I'm going to mangle it, but it's from not the most recent. It's from Succession from 2 weeks ago. Are you guys digging the new Succession?
I haven't seen the new season yet.
I haven't seen the second episode.
It kind of freaks me out as it's going along. I always feel like it's losing its way, but then it always, by the end of the season, I'm like, this was the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a line from episode 1 that's everyone's quoting, making the rounds. Tom is making fun of this gal that Greg brought to Logan's birthday party. And he goes, look at that. What is it? Look at that terribly capacious bag she has. And he just rips on her bag. And one of the lines is, looks like she's about to slide it across the bank floor. It's so funny because, dudes will do that to each other. They'll pick on each other for, something their gal does or something they're wearing. And it's just so funny for the way that these two dudes make fun of each other is to make fun of the bag. Like, I've never heard dudes do that, but it makes perfect sense for that character.
My quote of the week is also from my mother. And when I was a kid and it would be raining, we had no umbrellas. And we lived in Chicago. And I said, why? And she goes, we don't use umbrellas because the rain is as good as the sun.
That's a nice mentality.
I like
I
that.
think so too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. How did your folks feel when you got into comedy?
Well, I figured it'd be short-lived and that I would eventually go become a lawyer because I got a C- in organic chemistry, so the medical thing wasn't going to happen. And they figured I would, go after the good life, which I would have probably. I mean, but it kept going. I kept having little tiny successes that were enough.
And now you've done it. I know you think you haven't, but you've done it.
Yeah.
And we were. It was a pleasure working with you on Unstable.
It was fun.
We're psyched, and it was a pleasure having you on today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for coming
it.
on.
Thank you.
And check out Quasi on Hulu.
420.
And then the KC Comedy Club.
KC Comedy Club. I'm at Cobb's in San Francisco in mid-May.
Where can
We
people
just did
get
that.
your?
Fun.
It's awesome. Where can people get your tickets? They go do you have a website?
JChandrasekhar.com.
Cool.
Good luck spelling it.
Can I try?
Sure.
CHANDESAKAR.
You missed about 4 or 5 letters.
Not bad.
You're close.
Hey, you miss all the swings you don't take.
Well, thanks again for coming on. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Yeah.
If you need advice, these guys are really nice.